on Larry. Are we down?
That was me shutting off, turning back on.
Oh, are we still doing the podcast part of it? Oh, okay. So we're still doing a radio show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I guess the cameras are freezing because we have new cameras that there's a price to pay for actual vivid colors. So we wanted to do shout outs, Ryan.
Yeah, I got that right here. We got Sports Rule, Flammable Monkey. No, I don't want to reply. Sports Rule, Flammable Monkey, Sapphire, GK Girl 14, Pie Face, Rock On, Super Pandas, Jenny, Shade, Awkward Tacos, Cassandra, Animalista, and EAC Pup.
Okay, great. Are we working, Matt? Does it work? Does the show work? We're on the air. Don't talk about it. Okay, and we were before. Oh, Jake just got back from Washington, D.C. Very short weekend President's Day trip. Did you see? It was President's Day. You were in Washington, D.C. The natural question would then be, did you see the president?
I didn't do any of the usual touristy things in Washington, D.C. because my friend Jordan, who I've known for quite a long time, he lives there. And whenever we got together back when he lived in L.A., our parents would both try and get us to do things, and our hobby was getting them to not make us do things by sitting downstairs and playing video games.
Understood.
So that's pretty much all I did this weekend with him, and that was pretty fun. I did see the National Cathedral, though, which is a very, very big church, which is something you're not used to seeing outside of Europe or something. And it was very cool and very impressive, but I didn't see the Washington Monument or anything like that, but I had seen it before.
Okay, so did you get to see Jordan's schmancy school?
It is very, very schmancy and cool. His it's 7 buildings, and they're giant.
Wow.
Only they're not. They're all connected at once, and I'm not supposed to touch the mic either.
Oh, no, you can touch it gently, just not the parts that connect parts to it. Olivia, I believe, has a question for you.
That's a good philosophy in life, by the way.
I was just saying I went to D.C. when I was in 8th grade, and I saw the back of John McCain's head.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
He was very angry
Was
because...
it attached to the rest of him?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, good sign.
And he was walking across the street, and our bus driver was honking, didn't realize who it was because he was taking a minute and a half to cross the street.
Well, he's old.
And he turned around
and senatorial
and looked at us.
Yeah.
And then all of our teachers were like, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop honking!" And the bus driver just didn't.
I thought that senators had tunnels and things. I didn't think they had to walk in the street like people.
I think they walk around out in the open.
Do they?
In front of everybody, yeah. Mm-hmm. Used to be you could drive. I was when I was a kid and I went through the White House tour when Nixon was in office. Wow, that's how old I am. And it used to be you can't drive in front of the White House. I mean, there's so many places you can't go anymore. I feel like the world has changed, but I remember that very distinctly. They kept talking about the tour guide was funny because, and I have this image in my head because I was a kid, but he said, somebody asked, is there a chance we might see the president walk through? And he said, not likely. I think it was a Saturday or Sunday. But if you see a man walking around in his pajamas and a robe and slippers, it might be President Nixon.
Wow.
And that's how I've always envisioned him.
In pajamas,
yeah.
Right. Especially after he resigned, because then he was in... Never mind. Okay. Do we have who's on the phone, Matt?
Casey's on the line.
Hello, Casey.
Hi, is this Wheezy?
Yes, it is. How are you?
Good. Is the show on?
Yes, the show is live right now. You're live on the show.
So
please be interesting. All right. So
wait, were you gonna?
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Well, I first want to know, since Casey is a rather androgynous name, are you a boy or a girl?
I'm a boy.
Okay, excellent. So do you have a question for us, young man?
Yes.
Go. What is your question, Casey?
It's kind of hard for me to say. I just recently came out of the closet, so to speak, or should I say, came out of Narnia.
Came out as gay?
No.
Came out as what?
Both.
Bi?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And how old are you?
I'm I'm 14.
Okay. Well, you know, if you've been in the app for a little bit, you know that there's a lot of gay and bi kids in the app, right? So you don't have anything to feel shy or uncomfortable about, right?
No, I haven't been in the app, but my brother has.
Oh, okay. So did he tell you that we're very LGBT friendly?
Yeah, he said that you guys answer a lot of his questions. Like,
In fact, I have a gay brother, and Ryan on our panel has a gay brother. And the other people who don't have gay brothers are very jealous
Wait,
of us because
wait,
everyone should have.
There's a Ryan on your panel?
There is a Ryan on the panel.
That's funny. My brother's name is Ryan.
Well, in this case, our Ryan is straight, and your Ryan is straight. Isn't that crazy?
And we both have gay brothers. or
Is your
bi
brother
in this
is your
case.
brother's name Casey?
No.
Ah, that'd be so cool.
Unless,
That would
I
have
mean,
been weird.
Am I your brother? I don't think I'm your brother. Right?
No, actually, my brother isn't straight. He's bisexual.
Oh, you're
okay.
both bi. Very interesting.
Yes.
All right. So have you told this to your parents?
No, because what happened was my brother actually got kicked out of our house.
Your brother actually what?
He got kicked out of our house.
Oh, so you're afraid that if your parents find out this about you, that you will be kicked out as well?
Yes.
I see. So how old is your brother?
He's 17 now.
And where is he living?
Somewhere in New Jersey.
So are you wondering what's the best thing for you to do, if you should keep this to yourself or if you should tell somebody, or tell me your question?
I'm wondering, like, should I keep this to myself or should I tell someone?
I think that given what I know about your parents and their history, I think as hard as it is to feel like you're not being authentic with your own parents, that when you're only 14 years old, you still need to spend more time in your home, and that you should keep it to yourself, and call helplines and talk to people that are very supportive and let you know that you're not alone and that you're going to be fine, and the world is going to be very welcoming to you once you grow up and enter the world. But we don't want the same thing to happen to you at the age of 14 as what happened to your brother. I'm very happy that the two of you have each other to talk to about this, but other than your parents not being okay with having a child who's bisexual, are your parents good people?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I'm going to let the panel talk to you a little bit. Oh, go ahead, Olivia.
I think right now it's better to keep it a secret because it's about your safety. 14-year-old, you still got some stuff to learn. And I just think that it's better to come home to a house where you have a bed and food every night, and it's going to be consistent. And you're 4 years, I know it seems like a long time, but it will go by really quickly, and you will be out. You'll be like in college, and people are generally accepting there. So
Yeah, I would say hugely so. I think being gay is an
Did
absolute.
you just say people were, like, accepting in college? Because my brother recently had to move out of his dorm because somebody...
well,
because
where did he go to
his dorm-
school?
Where is this?
I don't exactly know the name of the college, but he had to actually leave his dorm because his dorm mate actually broke his arm in 7 places.
Oh no, that's a horrible story. Go ahead, Maddie.
I think definitely talk to your brother a lot, because I think that it'll be easier to be able to confide in someone. At least it's easier to keep a secret when you know that you can keep it with someone else.
When you go to college, what you're going to want to do is, when you get there, is you may not want to fill out this form in front of your parents, but when it comes to roommates, you can check out, are you comfortable having a roommate who's gay or bisexual? And if you check that you're okay with that, you're more likely to get another kid who's gay or bisexual that wouldn't have a problem with it. I'm not sure what happened to your brother. I would call that highly unusual.
Yeah.
I think college kids do a lot of, like, sass talking or whatever, but once you're just out and everyone understands that you're gay, it becomes a non-issue really quickly. I know that we've heard the story of Tyler Clemente and his, them videotaping him or whatever, but they were just being, I think they were just being collegey and jerky, like not actually meaning
Yeah,
him
it wasn't
any.
like a hate thing towards gay people. It was just They
It
were
was just like when he went
assholes.
across the hall and said, "Yeah, my roommate has some dude over," and it was more the issue that the dude that was over wasn't their age. He was like an older guy that he had met on the internet, and that was more unusual than my roommate's gay. It's like I don't want you to feel like the world isn't going to accept you, because I can promise you that there's a couple of hiccups when you're gay, but that for the most part, the world will accept you. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, so I would say also that you should just keep it quiet for now for a couple reasons. The first being, like Wheezy and Olivia said, that 14 is just too young of an age to be out of the house. Also because you never know how your parents can change their views and perspectives over time, because things can shift for them as like the people around them change. And eventually it might be something that they're okay with, and it might not be. But when you're older, I think that's a decision to make when you're older as to whether or not you should tell them. And then also, I'm just seeking a little clarification. Was your brother sent out of the house because he came out as being bisexual?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if that's the case, then yeah, I would keep it quiet for now.
And it's also true that, you know, having a son who they know is bisexual, you know, their hearts may warm in the years to come, so that by the time that you come out, they will understand that this is just the way people are. Sometimes parents see it as a personal failing, or that they did something wrong and they take it very personally, and this is not the dream I had for my child. So you do have to give parents a chance to just adjust to that, and most parents do. Go ahead, Ryan.
I know that, like, when my brother came out, my parents had the initial reaction. My mom was like, "Oh, did I baby him too much?" And my dad was like, "Was I not a big and like a masculine enough example for him?" And then they kind of just came to the terms and understanding that it's him, it's not them.
Exactly. And I think that when parents have a child, they have a dream for that child, and then when you present them with, "I'm not going to be the dream that you had. I'm my own person, and I'm this way, and I'm going to love you forever, and I hope you're going to love me forever, but I'm going to live my life based on, you know, who God created, and God created this. You gave me life, but you don't get to live it. It's my life." And I think that you will come to accept that and come to love yourself, and that in the next 4 years, everyone's going to do a lot of learning, including your brother, your parents, and yourself. And I think you're going to have a really strong bond with your brother for life. And I know it seems like very lonely and very scary, but I know that you can do it. You sound to me like an amazing person.
And also, you said you weren't in the app, but I think you should really, get in the app and start making friends with some of the people in there who are really accepting and can help you through it the same way you can help them through it.
Yeah, there's some great kids in it. Thank you so much for calling, Casey. We'll talk to you later, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We are at 888-531-7171. Did anyone want to talk about Casey's phone call? Anyone have anything else to say about that? Before we jump into the questions, I think he's being very brave.
Yeah, definitely.
This is from Dancer38. Hi, Wheezy. I like this guy, and in PE we have to play basketball. And let's just say I strongly dislike basketball. So, like my face was kind of maddish, so he started talking to me and like saying what's wrong and stuff like that. So then he started talking like about how my brother gets all maddish in basketball, and he started talking about how he had game rage or some sort of crap like that. Sorry if you consider that swearing. So we had a convo about my bro and his maddish acting in his sports. And do you think he is just being nice, or does he like me? ? By the way, can you post this on Opal, please? Because I want to hear the teen's opinion. Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll get to you, teenager, in a second.
Could you translate that question for me?
This kid was talking to her. The phone's ringing. So, Jolene, if you're not going to do your job, then, there's a line of 20 people out the door. That's what they used to tell us at Premiere all the time. Did you understand this teen speak, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and explain it to me.
You want me to translate it?
Yes, please.
All right. So there is this girl in PE, and there's this guy in PE, and there's a bunch of other people too. But
I understand PE. Thank you.
The girl likes the guy,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know if the guy likes her.
Right.
But they're playing basketball in PE right now,
Right.
and she strongly dislikes basketball. She has an older brother who gets worked up in games, I guess,
Game
or what she
rage.
calls
Game rage.
Game rage.
Game
Got
rage,
it.
yeah.
And so the guy came over to her and said, "Oh, what's wrong?" Because she had this angry face on about not wanting to play basketball. And they talked a little bit about her brother's game rage. and that was about it. But she's wondering if the fact that he's caring and asking her what's wrong and having this conversation means he's just a caring guy, or he likes her,
Or he likes
or
her.
both.
I think he likes her.
Yeah.
Anybody? Larry?
No.
I think there's not a lot of information there to go on, but the potential certainly sounds like it could be there. They have something in common. Her brother's game range.
They do. They have that in common. I don't know that guys just randomly talk up during PE. Hands are going up. Olivia.
I don't think that every time a guy talks to a girl, it means that he likes her, and that tends to be the exact advice we give every week.
Just be mean.
No, he's just not that
You're
into
just
you,
jealous
and you have
that
to get a
guys talk
grip.
to me, okay?
I'm sorry. It just like I talked to Ryan. That's not happening.
Hey, Olivia.
So like,
Hey, Olivia. Hey.
Hey.
Are
Hey.
you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. You
Why,
okay?
why are you making that face?
I don't know. It's my brother's game range.
Olivia,
Sorry,
you don't
that
want
was-
that.
It's
Who
just
doesn't want that?
I
That's
just think that
beautiful.
sometimes people talk to people, and that's cool.
But in basketball, when you're all sweaty and dribbling, Maddie.
I think it really depends on how many times he's done this. If he does this like every PE, every 5 minutes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
If it's like once and this happened once and now you're wondering about it, 3 weeks later, probably not. So
Well, at least you're striking up a friendship, and then off of a friendship, you can base the rest
Exactly, but it doesn't mean that he likes you. Like, bam, he
Okay.
spoke to you.
yeah.
of it. All right, but you could still be optimistic about the situation.
No, I'm not
Sure,
saying
yeah,
that
of
he
course.
doesn't. I'm just saying we don't need to tell
Why
everybody.
do you want to kill love, Olivia? Why
I
do you want to kill love?
don't. I
Why
just,
you want to harsh the mellow?
I think that she's just saying you can't make harsh judgments about a single
Kyo.
action.
I mean, that's basically what I was gonna say. You can't say that this is a deciding factor that he likes you, but I mean, he wants to talk to you.
That's for sure.
That's
Yeah.
a good sign, but it doesn't mean that he definitely likes you.
Jakey.
I have honestly no idea if he likes you, but this is a tip from one person who hates basketball to another person who hates basketball. Make a fool of yourself and everyone around you. It is a really fun habit to get when playing sports. If you just make a mockery of everyone, of
I
like
used
the
to do
entire
that all the
sport
time.
and what all those other people actually care about, it's really fun.
I can't believe that Ryan wants to be your friend.
it's because they're wearing matching blue shirts.
Ryan is like a sports freak, and Jakey wants to kill sports with a knife.
I used to do that in elementary school when we were playing soccer. I'd pick up the soccer ball and play, and then I would run to the other side and be like, touchdown.
That's so awesome. Ryan?
So I don't really know if he likes you, just like Jake said, but let me give you one tip from one sports lover to someone who's friends with Jake. And it is not fun when Jake makes a mockery of basketball.
It's fun for Jake.
It's pretty. It's actually pretty hysterical. Actually, like if you at first it really got under my skin, and I was like, "Urgh," but now I just realize it's a total joke, and like it's just hilarious to watch him slip and fall into walls diving after a basketball, and take 80 steps, and it's not a travel, I guess.
Well,
but-
yes,
and
no,
punch
not-
me to
not
get
what
me
Jake
out of
does.
his
You
way.
have to go with the action dive whenever it's applicable and dive for everything, even if it's way too far that you can't get it.
Jake rules. Jake rules. Olivia.
I'm actually having this exact conversation with someone over text. Well, not right now because I'm on the show, but it was earlier. And because they have mandatory after-school sports at his school. And I'm like, I would just hurt someone physically. And because when I was in elementary school, I had to do sports. And I love watching sports. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. But I don't like when things are being thrown at my body and I'm
that.
expected to catch them.
Right.
So I was only good at dodgeball because I was able to throw and I could dodge really well because I don't like things being thrown at me.
Of course. So it's just self-preservation.
Uh-huh.
It's very instinctive.
I was very good at dodgeball.
Jake.
Sorry. The topic of hating sports and making fun of them has come up, and I have to talk more. Velociraptor basketball is a thing. You run through the court like this, and then you grab the ball like this, and you throw it. And that's the entire sport.
Okay. I will look into that. It sounds almost as much fun as Quidditch without flying.
Quidditch is great.
Go ahead, Maddie.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of dodging things, that's pretty much how I do PE because right now it's still mandatory because we're in middle school.
Yeah.
That
So
sucks.
yeah, when we're playing like, all like baseball and soccer and people kick things, I just run away and dodge it because I've had way too many things hit me in the face. So it's like, if you just dodge everything that comes toward you, people end up figuring out that they shouldn't kind of throw anything in your direction. Is
Okay, so we're gonna
everything
go to
okay?
the phone. That was my my husband and his sister texting each other, and it vibrated on the table. Sorry about that. Hi, Justin. Animagus. All right, so Animagus, new rule: you get to say your question really in 20 seconds, and then we're gonna say goodbye to you and discuss it. That way, the phone is
Okay.
free for other people. So, are you
Okay.
are you comfortable? Do you understand the rules? Are you ready to play our game?
I understand the rules,
Let's-
although it may take a couple more seconds than 20.
Should we give her 23?
23.
Okay, go
23,
girl.
deal or no deal?
Go girl.
Okay, so I was walking down the hall after last period, and there was this kid in last period that I was talking to, and we were just talking for like half an hour. And so I was walking down the hall behind him and like two of his friends or whatever, and one of his friends starts talking to him saying, "Oh, come on, you gotta ask her out at some point." And then they both turn around and look at me like, "Oh no," and I was kind of just sitting there like, "What?" And then so basically I got ready, and I was waiting for my mom, and he was waiting for his mom. He was like sitting at the tables, and I was at the door, and he slowly started making his way over to me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, what's happening? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!" And then I'm sitting there, and then we just sat there for like 5 minutes. It was super, super awkward. And then basically what ended up happening is that I went outside because it was just kind of getting creepy, and then this kid outside was like a pervert, and he started like creeping me out. So I came back inside, and then we started talking again because he's like, "Oh, why did you come back inside?" I'm like, "Oh, blah blah blah." And so we ended up talking, and then I had to go or whatever. Anyway, so I don't think this has anything to do with me. Well, just considering me, and so. Yeah, but I was just wondering what you thought, because second opinions are always cool.
What's
All
your
right, we
question?
got
thought-
it. Thank you so much for calling. Take it away, panel. Ryan.
My thought is that was a Taylor Swift song.
It so was.
It's not me. It has nothing to do with me. And here's a relationship.
So do you think were those guys talking about her?
Maybe, or maybe they looked back.
What?
The Grim Reaper.
Or like they just look back. Oh, hi, person. I do that. Hi.
It sounds to me like somebody was trying to get up the nerve.
Or it was just like either they were talking about her, they were talking about someone else, and they're like, "Oh my God, she just heard us."
All right,
Or-
I'll tell like a really brief story about the Comedy Store because I know how much you guys love stories about the Comedy Store. Okay, so this
got 20
really mean
seconds.
comedian. Let's see if I can do this in 23 seconds. Start timing me, Howard. Okay, so this really mean comedian said something horrible to me, and because the Comedy Store is like a real male zone, and they're mean to the female comedians. He said something. His name is David Taylor, and he said something really mean to me. So my two best friends were friends with Dave Taylor, and they said, "If you don't apologize to Wheezy, we're never speaking to you again." So for like the next several weeks, he would like hover and circle around me at the Comedy Store, but he never got the nerve to walk
Time's
over
up.
and apologize because he's a boy.
Oh, ouch.
Did I? No, but I mean, because they
Really
want
gonna throw
to.
that one? You gonna throw that one out there, Wheezy?
I'm done because I went over my time.
You gonna
but what I-
stereotype now?
No.
No, but
I
you
don't think you
understand what
can
I'm trying
do
to say.
that. I think you hit on it when you said he's a comedian, and they're perhaps the most dysfunctional individuals in the world as far as social graces go.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Most.
So it took him, and he was trying to probably construct
So-
the apology so that it really had like a good
Right.
punchline.
But Larry, wouldn't you call the mentality to be really close to that of a 13-year-old boy?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
My point has been made.
So
Thank
not
you.
because he's male, but because he's a boy.
Just male,
Yeah.
comedian,
Comedian,
immature.
Arrested
Wheezy,
Development.
Yes.
your headphones are really exciting me right now.
It's a look.
That's a
All right, we are Our
Fashion
Place
statement.
Out Loud. I am Louise Palanker here with a panel of teenagers, and we are taking your calls. We have Larry Morgan, and now's the time of the show where we discuss Larry Morgan and how he was a boy disc jockey.
Mhm.
You were a boy disc jockey. How did you get interested in radio?
I was growing up in Odessa, Texas, which is a kind of medium-sized town in the middle of West Texas. It's the place that Friday Night Lights comes from. It was the book that was written is based on my high school, Permian High School. And so everything was oriented toward high school football there, not something I was into. I was kind of a Jake kind of guy as far as sports goes. Although I attended the games, I enjoyed that. But I was more of a creative type, and I didn't really have a great outlet for it. I was making little Super 8 movies and like the streets and alleys of Odessa, like would make World War II epics in the middle of West Texas. And I got really fascinated with radio. I loved listening to radio, and it was a time when I was growing up when it was like real high personality and lots of energy and screaming and yelling. Boss
Horns.
jocks, they called them.
Horns.
The occasional horns characters and stuff. And I found myself listening more to the disc jockeys than to the music most of the time. And so this is kind of interesting. I had, in my sophomore year in high school, there was a girl who sat in front of me in English class who was dating a disc jockey at one of the radio stations in town.
That's
Don't
really
do the math.
creepy.
Don't do the math. Yeah, it was
Really
bad.
creepy, yeah.
But the plus side was she got me into the station, and he auditioned me just reading news, and he listened to it and said, "You're terrible, but we'll give you a job running Casey Kasem's Countdown on Sunday night." And 15 years old, I was running on albums. They were actually pressed it on albums. 4 hours of Casey Kasem, and then there was like an hour of a jazz show that was some guy did, and then I got to sign the station. It was an AM station. You had to sign it off on Sunday night. The one thing I said at the end of the day at midnight was, "This ends KOZA's broadcast day. KOZA's blah, blah, blah." And then I go over and turn the transmitter off, a giant red switch, and then my mom would be waiting for me out in the parking lot in the station wagon, pissed because I kept her out so late.
Did you actually make it sound?
What's it? Yeah, that was how I sounded, basically.
So
that
that's
was,
exciting.
Yeah.
And then when you were, what age did you get hired by the Kiss FM in Los Angeles?
I got accepted into film school at USC. I came out to L.A., and I was told by a bunch of people I need to listen to the disc jockeys working on KFI, which was top 40 on the AM at the time. I started calling a guy that we know called Big Ron O'Brien.
Big Ron O'Brien.
I would I would do bits with him, and he'd put me on the air, and I ended up answering the request lines for him and Tim Kelly, a guy that we know very well, and stayed in touch with him over the years. I would go back to Texas and do radio part-time, and sent an air check, a tape of my show back, and Tim and Ron and the people who really believed in me gave it to the boss there at Kiss FM in Los Angeles, and they hired me at 21, actually, not 19.
21.
To come and work part-time at the biggest station in the world at the time.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah. And the rest is history.
And what other radio stations have you worked at?
Kiss FM 102.5 in Sacramento. I went to Mix in Houston. And here in Los Angeles, I've worked at what used to be Star 98.7.
With Ryan?
That was where Seacrest was working.
Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
And is he as dreamy in person as he is on the television?
Yeah, he gave me all the best moisturizing tips.
Mhm.
I got those. I picked that stuff up from him, and he's pretty dreamy.
He's got handsome down.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got that down.
No, he's definitely.
Yeah.
He's short. He's a little short.
It's okay when you're that handsome.
Do you have
It's
questions
like the
about
Frankie
Ryan
Valli
Seacrest,
thing.
Ryan?
Does he ever sleep?
No,
I
he
mean,
doesn't
because
sleep.
like
No.
radio in the morning, American Idol at night, and then and he's got all the stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
They do rehearsals.
I mean,
and
a lot of people make fun of Ryan because they have good reason to make fun of Ryan because he's kind of cheesy. But at the same time, I will defend him to the death because people see him become really successful and don't know why. Is he really that talented? The fact is, and I think this is a lesson for anybody, and I've learned this more and more, he works really hard. He doesn't sleep, and he understands that he's got this opportunity right now to expand his success based on what happened with American Idol, and it came out of radio. And I've never seen anybody in this business or any other who has worked harder at being successful.
Maybe
So-
Dick Clark.
Well, it's the Dick Clark model. It's
the Dick
Merv
Clark
Griffin
model.
model.
Exactly.
He owns
Nick
his own
Cannon.
material. He owns his own stuff outside of American Idol. He owns everything else that he does, and that he controls it. And yeah, I got to give him a ton of credit.
I think Maddie has a question
Maddie.
for you.
I do have some radio trivia for you. What is now the largest station?
Boy, that's a really good question. Kiss probably is still. It's still kind of the same major players. Kiss FM and Z100 in New York still probably have the biggest audiences for like top 40 or whatever. But mostly because things are so split up a little so much, it's AM talk usually does really very well. Like Bill Handel and KFI and Rush Limbaugh and his show and the talk shows tend to have the biggest following. The biggest,
Bigger than Our Place Out Loud?
Just a little.
just a tiny bit. Tiny
Okay.
bit.
What
I'm
about,
talking about purely terrestrial, not
Just terrestrial, yes.
What about BBC?
BBC radio.
Yeah.
Big in England.
Oh, is it not big here?
Well,
No, because my mom has it like on the presets, and so does my dad.
Right, but
It's
your
like-
mother also
in
has
my
a
house,
South
it's
African
like-
accent. So
there are so
That's
many
true.
more
we
choices
can believe
now.
anything she says.
It's almost impossible to gauge what everybody, because there's so many different choices and places you can get it between, XM Sirius, between what you can get on the internet, between what you can get on your television cable and those music channels.
And that's an interesting question because her mother specifically probably grew up listening to BBC, and so that's what she wants to listen to. That's what she's used to.
It's like the big thing in my house.
You can access any radio
BBC.
station and listen to it from anywhere. I mean, I can listen to a station
Especially
from Milwaukee.
if you heart radio.
Yeah.
All right, who's
have
on the
that
phone?
app.
Is it Supa?
Super Pandas.
Pandas is Supa. Okay, if there's any lag between what I say and what you say, we're gonna have to say bye. As much as we love you, so you have to call us on a device.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
There's
Yes, I
that was a
can.
big
Can you hear
lag.
me?
I have a really good idea, Super Pandas. You say your question really quick, and then we'll say goodbye to you and we'll discuss your question. Okay, ready? Begin.
Okay, so at yearbook today, there's this guy. His name's Chris. He's in 8th grade though. Like, I've known him for a while, but like, now I have a crush on him, and I have no clue what to do. It's also like Bradley and Jason. But yeah, I'm really confused right now,
How well do you know him?
and that's my question.
Do you know him at all?
What?
How well do you know the kid?
Oh yeah, like we've talked a lot.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling,
no.
Pandas. We're going to discuss it. Okay. What do you guys think she should do? She's really confused. He's a grade older. Who's got some tips and cheats and hints? Ryan.
I really don't think being a grade older matters that much. I guess like when you're really young, like it could matter, but it really doesn't matter all that much to me. I think like 3 grades, 4 grades, yeah, that's gonna matter. But 1 grade, a lot of times, like there are people in grades below me that are older than me. You know, it's just like 1 grade is really not that big a difference.
Right.
So I think,
If you found out that a girl a grade younger than you liked you, you'd want to know who that person was. Oh, who is it?
yeah.
You'd,
And if they were older than me, it's the same thing. And even in my grade, the same thing too.
Mhm.
It's just like,
1 year, one way or the other really doesn't matter. But
yeah.
I think she's saying that some of her other friends like him too. Like I wasn't sure what she was saying. Go ahead, Olivia.
I don't know, like the whole grade older thing. My best friend and her boyfriend have been together for almost 3 years, and he's a grade younger than us. It really didn't matter. I mean, who you like is who you like. It's just a year.
I always thought, like in high school, when there was a couple where the guy was like a year younger, I always thought that was so cute. Because
they're
to
adorable.
me, it meant that the girl went out of her way to notice that there was a really awesome guy in the grade below. Like she took an interest. Like she had to
Well,
go out of her way to get to know that this
I mean,
person.
what happens is like at my school, because we have those arts classes, grades are mixed together,
Right.
Because it's based on your level of ability rather than what grade you're in.
Mhm.
So they were both in the advanced level because he has perfect pitch.
Oh.
So he can hear a song once in like he's in the back of a car and it's playing in the front on someone's iPod earphones.
Mhm.
You bring it up to him, you sing the first line, and he'll play the entire song for you.
That's crazy cool.
Right?
Can we have him on the show?
Sure.
I'll test him. Go
His
ahead, Maddie.
band.
Yeah, I mean, the 1 grade really doesn't matter because most of the classes that I have are with both 7th and 8th grade. I'm in 8th.
Mhm.
So most of our classes are with 7th and 8th graders. So, like, put together. So, like, intergrade relationships are, like, very, very, common at my school.
And so
Yeah.
just keep talking to him, especially since you seem to already have a rapport with him, and don't be nervous. Just because sometimes it's harder to talk to the person you like because all of a sudden your heart is beating faster, and that just makes it like more pressure. It's not like it's like a billion times harder than talking to a person. Talking to someone you like is like a billion times harder. So what advice can you give to that person who's talking to their crush and you wanting to be smooth? Just when you want to be the smoothest is when you're the unsmoothest, right? So anyone have any tips, hints, or cheats, Ryan?
Well, this isn't exactly like when you're talking to someone who want to be smooth, but just like the general concept of being smooth and not executing. Like a lot of times when I'm presenting something in math class, I'll like trip over something and fall and just
A
act like
lot?
it didn't happen. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it more embarrassing than playing basketball like a velociraptor?
Well, but I don't do that. I play basketball like Kobe or
You
MJ.
take it seriously.
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't. No, but yeah. So just make it like act like it didn't happen or totally exaggerate it. Like I'm not saying like flail your arms everywhere, but like totally make a point and be like, yeah, that just happened.
Yeah, what I would do is like I would say stuff like ooh, that was graceful. Like I would just
Yeah,
bag on
exactly.
myself. Like Olivia.
I'm really bad at leaving voicemails, and
An interesting flaw.
I mean, it's so bad. But So that kind of happens sometimes when I'm not leaving voicemails. And I'll just start talking about what I'm talking about. Like for instance, when I'm leaving the voicemail, I'll be like, oh, hey, it's me. Oh, wait, you don't know it's me. I mean, maybe you know it's me because, you can see my caller ID. Oh, man, what am I doing? This is voicemail. I have to tell you what is going on. And so sometimes I'll do that when I'm actually talking to people in real life. And sometimes they think it's funny, and then I start laughing at myself, and I snort, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, yes, it is. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because you don't hear enough comments about your snorking.
Nope.
Kimute.
Being nervous isn't necessarily bad, like being unsmooth.
Unless you're a surgeon, then you should really have it down.
Yeah, but when you're trying to talk to the person you like,
It's basically the same thing.
I mean, if it can even be kind of like cute, like for somebody,
Right.
and they'll smile and laugh at you, and
Yeah,
it's not
I mean,
that
would
thing.
you say
I'm not gonna-
I'm nervous? Would you? I mean, why not say I'm kind of nervous talking to you?
Yeah.
But here's the deal.
they're not gonna be like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you nervous? Get away from me!" Like, just talk to them.
That's kind of
Don't-
flattering, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, don't let being nervous stop you from talking to somebody.
Yes, exactly. Acknowledge what is, and then you can move forward with the awareness. Go ahead, Sio.
Okay, I feel like everyone makes it out to be a really, really big deal, and it's not such a big deal because you're just talking to someone, and I think I'm really smooth. So
Well, I know you are.
I just think I'm the smoothest person in the world. Like when I'm talking to someone I like, in my head I'm thinking I'm making really good moves right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like high-fiving yourself all over the place.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
You're kind of
My-
obvious though.
You're like,
Yeah,
I
you're
would
supposed-
date me.
you're
This
su-
is great.
Sometimes I do say that.
This is a perfect package right here.
I don't say perfect package, though, because that's a little conceited.
Okay, sorry. I wouldn't mean to make you conceited with that statement. Sorry to misconstrue it. Ryan?
I was just gonna say that while I think that is great, I don't think that's how I can't really feel that way. I can never relate to the feelings you express on the show.
I don't think that Sio is from Earth.
No one
Like, she's
can.
not exactly from the same planet.
Yeah.
Like,
Not even a
I
little.
know, but like seriously,
We're all so different.
that is so true.
but
I know.
We're all the same, but we're all so different.
Isn't it just? I know.
I think
Go
that
ahead.
if you do tell someone that you're nervous, it is kind of flattering to them, and that a lot of times, like I talk about how a lot of times I can be really blunt, and like it's almost that without like shoving it in their face. If you say like, "Hey, I'm really nervous to talk to you," or whatever you're saying, like they kind of get the hint, and it's just kind of like, "Oh, this person, is like, I don't know." It's a little hard to explain, but
Well, how would it be if you said something like, "Why are you so cute?" Like if you just said that. Why are you so cute? You make me nervous.
guys shouldn't. I don't know.
No, but could a
girls
girl say that?
It depends how old you are.
Anybody? We're brainstorming. Kyo.
I mean, you can say that if you want,
I
but
kind of want. Why are you
Like-
so cute?
don't. As long as you're not so nervous that you're gonna like throw up on them, then
That happened to me in first grade.
Yeah. Vomiting on someone is definitely a negative. I think
Yeah.
that causes.
What were you
So-
hitting
Makes
on
a
them when
very
you threw
bold
up?
statement.
Mhm.
Olivia, were you hitting on them in first grade?
No, I was thrown up on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Were they hitting on you?
No.
Oh, okay, that's good.
No.
It was lunchtime. Anyway, I was gonna say my brother is really smooth.
Is he?
Like I don't know if he's smooth with the ladies, but he just comes up with things really quickly.
Yes, he does.
So I was driving to the grocery store last night, and he was in the car, and I was like, "What if I just swerved right now? What would you do?" And he goes, "I don't know," and I was like, and I'm like, "Never mind, I'm just kidding." And he goes, "No, you would just be skidding," and I died. And no, I didn't. I was perfectly fine. I was in a car. I shouldn't say that, but
So cute.
no, he's really good at stuff like that. So
Uh-huh.
I hope, but I mean, like puns are funny.
Puns are very funny.
But don't try to be funny. Or try to be funny and then it goes bad and then it's cute. But just don't try to just be funny if you're funny.
Don't try to be funny. Now what am I going to do?
No, you don't have to try, Louise.
Oh, thank you, Larry.
See?
Oh,
See
my
what I
God.
How smooth
was that? Was
Yeah.
Really smooth,
I'm
Larry.
saying.
Okay, but honestly,
Listen and learn, people.
that was like
Oh, yeah.
really smooth.
That's how you work
But
it.
the second thing I thought of was like a vampire, like looking at his prey when you said that.
Well, she knows that.
We are Our Place Out Loud. I am I've known him since he was 21. We are Our Place Out Loud. I am Louise Plinker here with special in-studio guest Larry Morgan. If his voice sounds familiar and you have the XM Sirius radio, you probably have heard his voice saying things such as...
Oh, I don't. No. You need to go with the AMC theaters or UA Edwards
If
Regal.
you've been to a UA Edwards Regal theater, you've probably heard him saying things such as...
That's the latest from Taylor Swift. Make sure you check out her brand new album at taylorswift.com.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're that guy?
Wait, that's you who does like the AMC First Look?
See,
Are you
that's what I'm
serious?
talking
Oh my
about.
god, I hate that
Mind
thing.
blown.
No, I'm actually the guy in the bathroom that's introducing the music while you're peeing. So
Oh, okay.
that's usually where people hear me.
No, I'm sorry, but when I get to the theaters and I sit down and they're like, "Let's take an AMC Theaters First Look at Taylor Swift's new album," I'm like, "No, I came here to see
No,
Megadon,
I'm not the first look guy.
Sharknado."
I'm not the first look guy. I'm the guy in the lobby and then in the bathroom. And if you're there even before first look, that's me introducing the music.
It's pre-first look.
Yeah.
It's
I've
first or look.
probably gotten there
You
by that
sound
point,
like
but
the first look guy.
you totally
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Do you know the First Look guy?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I've
now
never
you're
met the-
lying.
Well,
No, I don't.
if you do
You're
meet
the
him,
first
tell him
look.
to stop.
Okay.
Thank you.
Boy, I'm glad I'm
Tell
not
him
the
to
first
stop
look guy.
talking.
Wow.
Hey, I told you, I'm honest. I'm honest.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the weirdest copy you've ever had to read?
Some of the work I do for Premier Radio Networks, our beloved company. There's a program that maybe you guys have heard before called Coast to Coast with George Norrie, where they talk a lot about everything from UFOs to ghosts to meteorites and kind of cosmic experiences and stuff like that. And they get the weirdest advertisers.
Okay.
And one of my favorite spots is basically the spot was about how this company, if you paid them a fee, they would pray for you. And they would send out, and they would use the cosmic power of prayer through the network of the people who have joined in their site. So you've paid them a fee, and for whatever you needed in the world, and it wouldn't just be you praying; it would be a whole bunch of people praying for the same thing you were praying for. So the power,
The
of
energy.
prayer. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that there was a guarantee, no satisfaction guarantee.
Okay, so Woe writes, today my friend came up to me and she said, my older brother in year 11 told me that the other day that everyone in his year used to call you unibrow, and it really hurt because I hate my eyebrows, and to think that all of those pretty girls in year 11 called me that really hurts me, and I know my friend wasn't saying it to be mean, but it still really stung inside. I am so ugly. First of all, unibrow is an easily solved problem. And second of all, people have ridiculous nicknames for all kinds of people they don't actually know, and it goes on and on and on, and you are not alone. Oh, the hands are up. Olivia.
Okay, so today at lunch I plucked my friend's unibrow. He was just sitting there, and then my other friend had tweezers, and we both looked at him, and he was like, "What's going on?" And we're like, "It's time." Anyway.
Unibrow ambush. Wow.
My husband has like one eyebrow. We call it his horn, and sometimes I'll just lean over and just yank it out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there's. You can easily pluck an eyebrow. Do not shave.
This is an episode of What's My Line where
Matt-
someone says something mildly off
Matt,
color.
could you please isolate just that sentence for me? Thank you.
No, just don't shave in between your eyebrows. It will go.
So now I'm Kitty
horribly
Carlisle
wrong.
saying something mildly off color, and you're Orson Bean. All right. Anyway, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh my God.
There are plenty of successful people with unibrows.
Name them, please.
I was going to say Anthony Davis, the #1 overall draft pick
There you
Yeah.
in the NBA, who makes $5 million a year.
Famous
he looks like,
unibrow.
He looks like this.
No.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Way to work it.
That's
Way to
a
work
lie.
it. Why waste space with two brows?
And everyone makes fun of him for it, but he keeps it because it's his unibrow. It's no one else's
There you
unibrow.
go.
It's his unibrow.
Dang.
Right.
Dang, Olivia.
So so we plucked his brow. And he was fine.
How did you hold him down?
I just said it's time,
Okay.
and he stayed where I wanted him to. And
You sure there was nothing else?
yeah, no, I'm sure. So then there's that, and it's just people are mean.
People
I
are
was
just
called
ignore.
a ton of stuff, and you know what? Some of it was true, and they were just pointing out things about me that like happened to be true, and I'm just like, yep, that's a fact.
Yep, that's me.
So that's it. And,
And
then
then-
there's also a friend of mine. There was a kid in freshman year. I have not seen him, but I believe that he exists,
Mhm.
and he carries a staff with him.
This is the stuff of legend.
No,
Like a bow staff?
I don't know. And
I
so
believe
my
it's a
my
myth.
friend calls him Greasy Daddy, and I'm not sure why.
See, exactly. People just call people stuff. Maddie?
Yeah.
Also, a lot of the times when people call you names, it's usually something that they can like see. You know, usually, well, that's what happens at my school, and so usually it's like, yes, very good. You pointed out an obvious fact.
Yeah, like watch
Good
any episode of
job.
Seinfeld. It's like, slow talker, big hands. I mean, everyone,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
called everybody something that
Soft
had to do with
talker.
something. All right, I'm going to jump through these because I want to get to everybody. Sarah, okay, so last weekend, 2 of my best friends went to the beach. Anyway, long story short, her friend smoked pot, and she wants to know what she should do about it. Olivia. I mean, I look at you, Theo, and I said Olivia's name.
I mean, I know about this, but I'm not going to say it right now.
Yeah, anyway, so they said
know.
we're never going to do it again, and this kid talked them into it, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Theo.
I think that if they say they're never, it was just once. Like, I mean, and I know smoking pot is a scary thing and stuff like that, but like it was once and it's not going to kill you, and even if it was twice, it's not going to kill you. But if it's like every day, all the time, it might damage you, so you should do something about that. But
But it's not her, it's her friends.
yeah, I know.
So what is she supposed to do about it?
She's not supposed to do that. She's supposed to say, "Oh, cool, you smoke pot. Well, I'm not going to because that's
Exactly.
not how I roll."
Exactly. Olivia.
I mean, yeah, I'll reinforce that statement. I mean, okay. I mean, a lot of my friends smoke pot, and that's their choice. Doesn't mean that they're terrible people and that I hate them now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my friends that do other stuff, like they get bangs sometimes and they wear shoes. It's
Or-
just things that they
Or
do.
they don't pluck.
They don't pluck, that's for sure.
Maddie?
Can I just clarify? Did it say friend or friends?
Yeah, I didn't read the whole letter, so hold on a second. It was a couple of girls that they know from. These guys and girls are known for taking drugs. Neither of my best friends had ever smoked or done drugs before, but they were offered cannabis by one of the guys, and they took it. So it's a couple of girlfriends.
So 2.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, well I'm assuming 2 then.
'Kay.
So it's just like, I mean, if it's you and then them 2, it might be a little bit harder than just one if you want to talk to them about it. But I mean, if it's
I think
if it happens like again, like they were saying, if it happens again and again and again, might be a problem. If it's just this once and they say they're not going to do it again and they don't, just ignore it. It's just probably happened once. They're probably a little confused and maybe the guys were good looking. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Ryan?
I would say you just don't talk to him about it. I mean, I know there's a lot of. I mean, okay, there's the aspect that yes, pot is illegal, and there's a lot of different. I mean, like one of the kids in my speech and debate class gave the persuasive speech that pot should be legal
Right?
in California.
That doesn't mean
Um,
that children should do it. It
But
still
right,
should be
no,
for
I'm
over
not.
it's
18.
for
I'm not.
18.
not saying that it should be okay. But all I'm saying is that it's not damaging like heroin or cocaine or crystal meth or any of those types of drugs. It's not like a hard drug, and so I think you just need to stay out of it because it's one time. It's not a habit for them, and also, like I have friends that have started doing that I not like on a regular basis, but every now and again, and they drink sometimes every now and again when they're with their friends, and I don't like it, and I don't want to do that. And it bothers me, especially because like I don't want to hang out with them when they're doing that, so I start losing out on that friendship, and it like bothers me like inside. Like even today it was brought up like with me and my friends, and I was just like, that's no, and inside I was just like, that's I don't, but I just stay out of it. It's their business, and unless it's creating a problem in their life that I can see, that it's their
their
mistakes to
business.
make and learn from.
Kiamute.
In my opinion, the real damaging thing that pot does is the lifestyle it creates.
Exactly.
It's not really like doing it once you're gonna get hooked on it
Mhm.
necessarily. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal that you need to be too worried about it. And like everybody's been saying, just do what you want to do. Don't do it just because your friends are doing it. And I mean, it's their choice to do what
Right.
they want.
Jakey.
I think Ryan hit on something really good, is that once there's a problem, you should talk about it. If it happens once, there's nothing really going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If my friend one day doesn't pick up his trash, I'm not going to talk to him about how he's destroying the environment or anything.
Right.
Is that once he's like living in piles of his own filth is when you talk to him about it.
That's a good way of putting it. And also, I think like with friends, it it's their choice until it starts to become like a lifestyle thing, and then you can choose to have other friends that don't do that, because you can't really lecture your friends into being the way you would like them to be. And when people start to go down a different path, sometimes the best thing to do is to just say, I'm not going down that path with you. I will see you when you come back down the path. I'll be right here. I still love you. But you don't have to say it. You just kind of act it.
Yeah,
Olivia.
exactly that happened.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a difference between smoking pot once and being a pothead and
Exactly.
not being who you are.
Because potheads are no fun to hang out with, and they usually don't want to hang out with people who aren't smoking pot, because
Right.
they want everybody in their club to be as culpable as they are.
Yeah,
And
my son went through something like that with a friend of his, a good friend from second grade all the way up until high school, and then they were in a band together, and then they kind of started to go down different paths, and he still loved the guy so much, but he just didn't want to go down that path with him, and he had to try and find a way to still be close and be available to him, but he wasn't going to be around him all the time when he was starting to experiment. And they
Yeah.
just finally reconnected like this year.
Oh, cool.
And he had a really bad time. He went to a very dark place, this kid, and he, my son Alex tried to help him, tried to talk to him, but sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you have to let them go through it on their own.
Exactly. Everyone has their
As
own
long
path
as
to walk.
you do everything you can to keep them from hurting themselves. But yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to jump ahead because I want to get to this from Kishan. This is bad. Amber and I have been dating for a while. She wants me to meet her father. I am a rational young man with good interests, but I just do not know what to do. I am having dinner at their house on Wednesday! ! Ah, help me. I've never freaked out like this. RAWR. Maddie's hand went up like, oh, I'm the expert on meeting fathers. I got this. I got this. Go.
Calm down. just calm down.
No, they're saying roar. They can't calm down.
Well,
Yeah.
Obviously not. But just calm down and everything will be fine. If you're just calm and normal and yourself, as long as yourself is.
I think Maddie's right. I
normal.
think you're jumping ahead. Like, this guy is looking at you like, I know how you look at my daughter, and like reading your mind.
Yeah.
You know what? He reads your mind without even having to know you. He
Yeah.
was a young man. He
Don't
knows
overthink
he
it.
doesn't. He does know what young men think, but don't overthink it. You're not gonna get married to his daughter yet, and he just wants to know that you are a decent person who doesn't smoke a lot of marijuana. Go ahead, Ryan.
With my first girl, okay, so let me first preface this with, I'm a pig when I eat.
Okay.
And with my first girlfriend, I went to her house to have dinner. This was like the first time I was meeting her parents, and I like totally had to like step up my game and eat very nicely.
Oh,
and
you did?
we were
Okay.
having spaghetti, so that didn't help.
Oh Lord.
And I don't know, it's just
It
one
was
of
a
those
test.
Exactly.
They tested you.
But I got through it, and basically the thing is, just kind of like when I guess I handled it at the beginning, kind of like an interview, not too professionally, but just kind of like, you say hi and you kind of introduce yourself as someone that like they'd want to get to know better, and when you learn about them, and I found out that her dad's a really big sports fan, then we talked sports the whole time, and it was like, I like this kid, and and if he wants to talk about computers and you don't know anything about computers, then just say like, yeah, I have a computer or something like that, and then let them do the talking and just be a good listener. And
Good advice. Good advice, Olivia.
Just remember to be totally respectful at all
Respectful
times.
eye contact.
Yeah.
A nice handshake, eye contact. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you.
And then, like, please, thank you. Don't forget the pleases and the thank
Don't
yous,
forget that.
especially the thank yous.
And other than that, just chill, like Maddie said.
and Mr.
Yeah.
Last name.
And Mr.
Yeah, Mr. last name.
whatever his name. Unless he's a doctor. Then doctor. Go ahead, CO. Mr. Doctor.
Surgeon.
Okay, so I have this similar experience, but I'm not going. He's like one of my best friends, and we're working on a dance together. And I go over to his house, and it's like before he gets there, I'm sure it's not going to be like this. I'm sure it's going to be totally cool and everything. And they like me and everything, but I have to act like a completely different person. Like, I'm actually respectful
Uh-oh.
around them. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm not
How you
a
gonna pull
smart
that off?
aleck at all. It's crazy. I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? It's so nice to see you again. Like, blah, blah, blah. And he gives me a list of things. Like, you can't mention anything about this or talk about this or do this, or because his parents are kind of like, have lines that they really don't like crossed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy.
No gray areas.
Yeah,
Black
and,
and white.
they offered me, like, this mom is like, oh, what do you want? Like, right when I get in the door, do you want anything to drink? We have hot chocolate, water, a bunch of different kinds of tea, fresh squeezed orange juice. I'm like, no thank you. because
you
it was,
weren't
it
sure
was
if it was a
scary.
trap.
Yeah, it was like I've never met someone that
We don't believe in cocoa in this household,
It's
lady.
crazy. It's like
I'd like orange juice. What?
no, like all of my friends.
What kind of tea is
Okay,
it?
so-
Caffeinated? Do you have an herbal tea? What
She
do you-
has
what's kind-
everything. I swear to God. You ask her what kind of tea, she'll pull out a whole store from her cupboard or something. It's crazy. Like I've never met anyone like that. But she's cool. They're all cool.
Okay,
It
I
was
can't
just
wait to go
crazy.
over.
Okay, well, it says that she wants him to meet her dad, right?
Right.
That's not like that's something to be calm, like to calm you down at least, because
Oh, yeah.
she wants you to meet her dad. She's not gonna like put you in a situation where your dad is gonna not like
Yeah,
you.
if
That's
she,
true.
if she's not freaked out, then he
Right.
shouldn't be either.
Like if you had like a really kind of ominous dad, you don't bring boys home to him
Right.
because you know that he's got like a gun collection and that you like this kid. So no.
And then also like, don't act too nervous because like it's like if there's like somebody who's suspected of a crime and you're going, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Like they're gonna suspect you. So I mean, it's kind of weird if you're too on edge.
Exactly, Ryan.
Also, just kind of tagging on to what Kia was just saying, it's more so than just that she wants you to meet him, and so that's not going to be a bad thing. It's not like he wants to meet you. Like I want to meet this kid. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
It's like the daughter's like, oh, let me introduce you to my dad. It's not the
She's
dad's
proud of you.
right. And he's not coming in with this perspective of there's something wrong with him. Let me find out what it is. It's the daughter was probably like, oh, would you want to meet my boyfriend or whatever? And then
Seal?
I also don't think it's like I don't introduce people to people that I know are gonna hate them. So like,
Right.
if I introduced my boyfriend to my dad and I knew my dad well, assuming I knew my dad well, since I like my boyfriend, my dad would probably like my boyfriend
Right.
because he half raised me, or
Like it's like
If
you're
I
proud of
have
both
a
of
dad.
them and you want them to meet each other.
yeah.
So you're picturing a good scenario, Olivia.
It sounds to me like this kid saw Meet the Parents
Uh-oh.
and just went to like the worst possible thing that could ever happen, which is, Robert De Niro's your girlfriend's dad.
I think it's way beyond that. I think it's that a teenage boy knows what the thoughts that are in his head regarding this girl, and he knows that the father knows the thoughts are in his head regarding his daughter, and he just feels like he'll look at me and be able to read my mind that I have pictured your daughter naked, and therefore, that's what boys.
Wow.
That's what. I'm just saying
Well,
what is.
You had him, and now you've lost him again. He's back to roar. I know it. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying what is. Larry,
you're
if
right.
you had a daughter, would that not be something that you would think about if a young man came over?
There would be no young man.
I mean, Maddie.
I just have a really quick funny story about you said the gun collection.
Okay.
When I was younger, and one of my friends, like this was like the first of our friends to get a boyfriend, and she and I asked Dad, what would you do if I brought a guy home and I had you meet my boyfriend? He said, well, I would show him my gun collection
Oh, boy.
upstairs. And I said, Daddy, please don't do that. And he said, well, I have to. It's my job. And I said, that's your job? I was really little, so I was like,
Well, but they're trying to keep their daughter safe from harm. Go ahead, Ryan.
I know we're running short on time, but I think the most important thing in like your first encounter is your handshake.
Mhm.
If you haven't had any handshake lessons, you have to make eye contact as you shake their hand and make sure that
There
you
are
match
lessons
the
for
pressure
that?
that they put on your hand.
Match the
It's
pressure.
one of the things you learn for interviews and everything. So
Okay.
if they squeeze your hand really hard, squeeze their hand really hard. If
Right.
they like do one of those flimsy weird like
Ooh, I don't like that.
do the same thing. And like you got to match it.
You
Make sure you give
mirror.
eye contact and offer to do things. Bring your if they don't say bring your plate to the sink, just bring your plate to
Bring
the
your
plate.
shit.
There you
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
they say just bring it to the side of the sink, don't worry about washing it, wash it off. Just go the extra mile on
I
everything.
love it. Ryan, thank you so much for those excellent hints and tips on meeting parents. We are Our Place Out Loud. I'm Louise Palanker. We will see you next week.
Existence coming back.
Oh my